comrades, welcome back to the Severna Republic. We are about to go over the 200,000 population mark, very close to tipping over into that. Have 198,824 Severnans currently living on the island. Had a bit of a economic and I guess societal issue with Severna at the moment. One of my docks here had burnt down and I failed to notice that until I noticed that my economy had kind of stalled. It's kind of stopped growing and then actually begun decreasing. So after a few sort of checks here and there, as anyone that plays this game will know, whenever you see sort of anything happening along here, say happiness going down or health going down, all right, or something like that, or you might, you check all of your main points of infrastructure and making sure that there's no trains locked up, which is usually the not as much now as it used to be in the earlier versions of the game. I am recording this on the 20th of June, which is actually the official release date of this game. I've been playing for about 5 years, and have 6,500 hours playing. So, welcome to Severna. So, I've rebuilt the dock that had burnt down. There's been I haven't looked through the logs to see when it actually occurred, but I think it's been a while. But because I import food into the storehouses once they run down to a certain level, I'd not really noticed it to begin with. But now it's begun to affect the actual economy and citizen happiness as I've begun to run out of meat as well, which is obviously not eaten quite as much. So there was a lot more in storage, but that has now just run out, or did just run out. So we're making sure now. I'm making sure now that we're getting the grain back distributed and getting the factories back going on, which does seem to be working pretty well. I did just import all my grain. I didn't have any ghost or auto purchases in the warehouses, but now I have, just to prevent this happening in the future, because I was having to import, I think it was, once the grain ran out, all of Severna's food, which is essentially crippled my economy. So I'd rather buy grain and pay the delivery costs than have to import every single ton of food into the Republic, and to also pay delivery on every individual one of those tons as well. So always remember that when you're doing ghost purchase, you're not just paying for the actual resource itself, you are also paying for it to be delivered, and sometimes those delivery charges, depending on how far that store or warehouse is from the border, then the more it's going to cost you. So with Severna being an island kind of more or less in the middle of the available map, that's in every direction, it's a long way. So now I've built a couple of extra ships to move the grain around a lot quicker, to make sure that this kind of incident doesn't happen again. So it's now the year 2000. We're on the 9th of January. There's no construction going on really in the Republic at the moment, so I do have quite a high unemployed population of 17,000. We have a health level of 90% and happiness of 96% due to the decreases in happiness from the lack of meat in the Republic, which wasn't previously ghost purchased, only food was, but now that has changed. So now that the Republic will also import grain and meat if the warehouses get to below a certain level to prevent this kind of incident. So outside of grain, everything else in the Republic is more or less ticking over tickety-boo. I've got a lot of over 21-year-olds still living with their parents due to, sort of paradoxically, because I have recently built South Severna, so a lot of people have moved in when the city was first built and had children, and now those children are ready to move out. These buildings are empty at the moment. I will be allowing citizens to move in soon. It's just I need to make sure that everyone around is happy, and which say no. So let's just expand the water system. I have got 2 entire water plants in South Severna, so this one doesn't look like it's being used very much. So let's get some water from there. So what? I literally got that connected to one. I wonder it's hardly being used. So we'll put in a pump, a water pump just here. There we go. So now they should be having their water. Yeah, perfect. So this is something that I always try and do before I open up a building for residency. Is a nearby building, I will just check that everything for those people has been met, and that's quite a good indication that you're probably only going to have to put a couple more things in for this area to also support the new residents in these buildings here, which will hold 500 people per building. So that's 1,500 people that will live here. So I will have to expand some in this, we will have to, that's actually doing quite well. Anyway, yes, we will need to put some more sports services and cinemas and enjoyment facilities. And also we will be constructing the new nuclear power plant soon. That will be also in an upcoming video. I am going to try and do more of these, just off the cuff, just to see how these turn out, because I do sometimes struggle to think, because all the things I'm doing is just so routine to me now, and I just so off the back of my hand, I forget to explain certain things when I present the videos, especially when creating the more sort of world building aspects of Severna. Kind of the game does take second place, but now with the release and maybe we're going to have an influx of new players into the game, I would like to maybe, try and help those newcomers to the game, as for all us, oldies that have been playing this game and know of its merits and its flaws and its little quirks. Something will seem almost automatic, but a new person coming from, say, City Skylines to Soviet Republic it might cosmetically look quite well. I suppose it doesn't really even look similar, but you know what I'm saying. It's a very different gameplay style to, I'd say it's similar to Tropico, not just sort of politically, but also in its gameplay, as there's no growable buildings or anything like that in Soviet Republics, which is similar to Tropico, at least in the last one I played. I've only played the sixth one a little bit, because unfortunately for that game it came after Soviet Republic, so it takes a lot for me to get into another game while Soviet Republic, because I do really enjoy this game, and I think that the gameplay is great. I actually did buy Songs of Six, because I've sort of been sort of looking at it a little bit, I think that I think it's on sale at the moment as well. It was only £20, so I did purchase that, and so I'm going to have a look at that and see if that is a game that it's visually different from Soviet Republic, but then also quite similar as well. It's probably just my weird brain, but I think that it doesn't look cartoony, is my point. I think that there is too much of an abundance of cartoony looking games, especially in the world of city building. It's all personal preference, and obviously game developers know what they're doing by making those games. They're not going to make them if they're not making money, if people aren't buying them. So obviously they are popular with some people, but not myself. But a lot of these games that I read about the actual gameplay and what I'm like, that sounds really cool, but unfortunately I just can't get over that sort of visual disconnect when these sort of very complicated economic and socio and planning and blah, blah, and then but it's all very cartoony. It looks like a child's game almost, and that's what I believe. Well, I don't believe, I know got me into Soviet Republic, because it looks so raw and so real. Buildings look drab, they look weathered, they that's what it would look like. City Skylines has its benefit. I do like the sizes that you can get up to in City Skylines relatively quickly, depending on sort of what game rules you've got on there. I mean, before I started playing Soviet Republic, City Skylines was my favourite game. So I am I do understand this, but I do find just the personalization that you're able to put into Soviet Republic, because you are responsible for the placement of every single building and the style of every single district, and when it all sort of works together, it is quite rewarding, other than just sort of painting a map with green, blue and orange. However, Song 6 looks interesting, so if any of you do play it, let me know whether that will be something that you would be interested in. I will be going in totally blind. I've not really done much research on the actual gameplay, just sort of the Steam sort of store page I've sort of mused over a few times, but yeah, I purchased that yesterday, because that's one thing I do miss with Soviet Republic, is that kind of like natural world building in the game. Like there's certain things happen and little Easter eggs to find or whatever, but I still, you know, I don't miss that too much because I do love this game. I'll tell you another game I do quite like as well is Farthest Frontier. That's a good game. It's a very pretty game, and yeah, it is quite challenging at times. It's like a very well polished, banished kind of gameplay, but it's very pretty. It's a very pretty game. But yeah, those are my main go-tos really as far as the city build. I mean, obviously play Civilization. So I've spoken more about other games in this video than Works of Resources itself. But yeah, let me know what you think of Songs of Six, whether that would be something that I should play, or if you have any tips for starting out that game. And yeah, I'll try and put together a more polished video like my normal content regarding the construction of the nuclear power plant, which will be beginning almost as soon as I finish this video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching today. Please like and subscribe. If there's any questions that you have about the game or anything else really, I don't really, you know, any questions you like, put them in the comments down below and I will get back to you, as I don't get many comments at the moment, so that gives me a lot of opportunity to reply to you. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you again. Bye bye.